Coach, your thoughts about the game.
Well, good morning to everyone. Certainly, we're all excited to be here. Great honor for us to be back in a second year in a row. But you know, to be in the playoffs is another dimension for us in our program. And certainly proud to be here, but excited. A lot of fun, and the Cotton Bowl always does a great job treating us very, very well.
Okay, we'll take questions. We'll start right over here in the front left side.
Tony Cornish, Jr., WTVY TV in Dothan. Question for Connor. On the health front, how you're feeling right now? Any, lingering after effects, anything like that? You wait for that first hit. Everybody wants to know. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I practiced yesterday and the day before. Felt really good. The time off, going back home, doing some extra rehab stuff, obviously helped out a lot. But shoulders feeling good. Feeling good. 100%. You got it.
We got a question here in the front right, and then we'll go to the left.
Reginald Atula, UTA Communications. Coach, you talked about how obviously you were here last year, but being in the playoff semifinal is just a completely different animal. Can you just talk more about that and how different it feels to be here?
Well, certainly there's a little extra excitement if there can be. When you get in one of these final Big Six these games, when you're in the final 12 teams in the country, you're always playing a great opponent. But when you're in the Final Four tournament, we all know and talk about what's in the end. The possibilities of continuing, but you got to take it one game at a time, especially now. So certainly there is a little more added excitement to the game, no question. But again, thankful to be here, blessed to be here, and I think our whole outfit feels that same way.
We got a question on the aisle, left side.
Jeff Spiegel, ABC 3340 in Birmingham. This is for Jack and also for Connor. The Alabama guys were just in here, and they were talking about their defensive line teammates, describing them as savages and caged animals and things like that. When you look at their defensive line on film, what's your take on those guys?
I would say up front, they rotate 11 guys. They're all very talented. They have great hand placement. They're big athletic guys, very physical. But we rotate guys in the O-line too, so I think both units will be fresh throughout the game, but they're a very, very good football team.
Yeah, I think they're everything you want in a D-line. They got the depth, and then obviously, the talent's there. Everyone sees that. They got the size. They got the speed, athleticism, everything you want, and it's obviously going to be a challenge, and we're ready for it.
Got a question in the middle, about halfway back on the left.
There's a question for Jack Allan, Tom Rinaldi with ESPN. Jack, December 20th, if I'm getting the date right, you had a really interesting day. You had to make a decision about graduation versus some other things. Can you just take us through what that day was like?
Well, Coach D gave us the option. If you wanted to go walk graduation, you could, and you just have to show up a little earlier and go through everything that we went through later. But for me, I thought you only get to do something like this once, so I'd rather do that or do this than go and walk graduation. Yeah. After I packed up my car, drove home, and got home as fast as I could to watch my brother in a wrestling tournament.
Questions? We'll take here, and then we'll go to the back. On the left-hand side, and then we've got a question on the platform, right behind you.
Coach Bollman, Ken Capps with Dave Campbell's Texas Football. You have three high school players from the state of Texas, three freshmen on your team from Texas this year. Tell me a little bit about Michigan State's philosophy in recruiting Texas, and how do you cut through all the other Texas schools down here?
Well, I think that most of our long-distance recruiting not all, but most of it, there's usually been some kind of tie, whether it's a family tie or maybe a relative, neighbor, something. There has to be something to get somebody interested in us. You know, it's not a general philosophy that we would go real far from home, and you know, all recruiting can be different within a program. You know, sometimes a coach has been there, an assistant coach who's been, that's his hometown, or you know, like we have a coach on our staff who's been in Texas, Terry Samuel, and Ron Burton has recruited Texas a long time from when he was at the Air Force. So there's some connections that you build where you can have the common element of trust. You know, when you just go somewhere and you don't know much about anything at all that you're getting into, I don't know that that's a great situation for you. But when you have some people there that you can trust, it can work out very well. And that's one of the situations for us there. Even though it hasn't been a frequent thing, maybe it can be a little more than it has been. And that's kind of reflective of some of the other areas that we've gone to in the past.
We've got a question on the platform all the way in the rear.
Tom and Eno, WVTM TV in Birmingham. This is for all three of the players. I believe it was Connor who said on Selection Sunday when you guys found out you were coming here that you don't really mind being the underdog. Is it possible to enjoy that, you know, being the underdog and playing that role? And also, how can that impact at all your mentality for preparations going into the game?
Yeah, you know, we always like, you know, being the underdog for as much, you know, disrespect or people always underestimating us. We embrace it. It's a role that we're pretty comfortable playing, and it's just, you know, it's what we are. You know, we've always kind of been the underdog. You know, going back to my, you know, freshman year here when I was redshirting, you know, a lot of those games even, when we had guys like Kirk Cousins playing and B.J. Cunningham and Keyshawn Martin, you know, big-time guys, and obviously a great defense. People still underestimated us. So it's just it's a role we're comfortable playing. We embrace it, we enjoy it, and we just go out there and have fun.
Question in the middle left, and then come to the front.
For Aaron and for Connor, you guys have won 6 games this year by a touchdown or less. What's the key to doing that?
It's all about finishing. You know, Coach D always talks about, you know, finishing all the workouts that we've had, you know, going back to winter conditioning, the workouts in the spring, summer. We put a big emphasis on finishing the workouts, and after every single workout, we have a thing called the finisher, and different guys come up with something different, whatever it is. You know, you walk in, Coach Manny would be like, hey, you know, Burbridge, you got the finisher today. So Burb would come up with a workout, whatever, that, you know, during the workout, he'd think of something. So as soon as we were done with the stuff that was required, we would do what Burb had in mind. So it's all about finishing, you know, no matter what, you know, the outcome is or the score, you know, we could be losing, whatever it is, as long as we, you know, push forward, you know, finish the game, usually good things will happen.
Yeah, just like Connor says, it's about finish, and it's also about the chemistry we have on this team. You know, we trust each other. Like, I know Connor's going to make that pass. I'm going to make that catch. I know Jack's going to get his block. You know, we just know we can trust each other and get the job done.
Okay, we got a question on the front, and then we're going to go to the back.
Coach Bollman, prior to the 21 Capital One Bowl, Coach Saban said this, and you weren't here, but he said this about the Michigan State offense, quote, they're stubborn, they'll keep trying to establish the run, unquote. How important is it in this game to not just go back to the well with run, but for there to be balance, so you have to make them guess?
Well, you've always heard me talk about the threat of balance, you know, and I really believe that. In most games that we play, not only in a giant game like this, but you know, you have to be able to do both aspects of the game. I really think they help each other. But you know, different about this game, there's no weather factor. You know that, and you know, you can get in some situations where, like in our Ohio State game, you know, if it was difficult for both teams to throw the ball because of the weather. Well, you don't have that situation here. But certainly with Alabama's defensive line, they're going to affect both aspects of the game too. So, you know, the challenge is always beginning up front. we talk a lot about, the lines, really, both offensively and defensively, because, Jack and his compadres give everybody else a chance to do their job. So that's where things start. And again, you put it in perspective of, if you were going to sit there and throw it all the time, and those guys were going to rush every single time, then you put it again the other way. You're going to run every single time. They're going to bring more guys in the box, this and that. So we have to keep doing one thing to counteract the other. So that'll be the approach, as it always is.
Question on the outside left, and then we'll go to the rear.
Tom Spouse, the New York Times. This is for Connor and Aaron. Connor first. Everybody's dissected and broken down what kind of quarterback you are, your style. What do you see yourself as a quarterback, and is there a quarterback in the NFL that you might compare yourself to as far as styles goes?
Obviously I'm not a dual threat by any means, but a quarterback that I admire a lot is Tom Brady, even though he went to Michigan. I like the way he plays. He's a winner too. He's always accurate, and no matter what is going on in the game, I think he always puts his team in the right situation to go out there and win and be successful. And I think he makes the guys around him better. I mean, there's times where, guys get hurt and he doesn't have all the weapons, but he brings guys together and leads them to victory.
We got a question on the rear.
Chris Brees, WIT in Birmingham. Connor, back here to your right. Alabama had said you had never, no defense you had never seen in all of your years starting here. Question for all three of you. Is that the mentality you have? You've seen every defense, or does Alabama bring something different?
Obviously we have seen a lot of defenses. We've gone up against a lot of great opponents, great defenses. And Alabama, obviously we haven't faced them yet, but just watching them on film, they look like an NFL defense in size, speed, the hits that they put on their opponents. So really, the thing that really stands out, obviously, I was walking in here and walked past some of their defensive linemen, and they're some big guys. So, like I said earlier, they're everything you want in a D-line. Very talented. They do some things a little different than other opponents that we've faced. But we'll be ready for it. But they have great players, and it's going to be a challenge.
You guys want to comment? Jack?
We played a lot of good defenses. Alabama, they're a good defense, but we were up for the challenge. And I feel like we match up well against them.
No, Jack.
Yeah, they have a couple different wrinkles on defense, and they do stuff a little differently. But at the same time, each team has had a couple weeks to prepare now, so I think both teams will be prepared for the game and the little wrinkles that each team has.
Got two questions in the middle. We'll take here and then across.
This one's for Connor and Jack, Jay Sarkar, WLNS. Guys, yesterday Darian Harris talked about how the senior classes before you kind of set the precedent with the Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl win last year. Now you guys are back in the Cotton Bowl with a chance to win in the college football playoffs. So just how much has all the build-up to this game been what you guys have been able to accomplish, but also just kind of looking back in hindsight at what the seniors classes before you taught you guys coming into your senior year?
You're on. Go ahead.
Is it not? All right. There's been 4 great senior classes ahead of us, and I think all of us seniors have taken something from all those guys that were leaders. And I think another big thing is they started and created a great culture, and each year I think it's just improved and gotten better and better, and that's why I think we're so good, because of our chemistry.
Yeah, to pick off right where Jack was saying, it's about the chemistry. And I remember when I was a redshirt sophomore, playing for the first time, and when we won the Rose Bowl, the seniors would just take everyone in, and it didn't matter if you were sophomore, freshman, whatever. Everyone in the senior class, they were always, they'd always had open arms to everyone, and I think that's a big reason why we've been so successful is the chemistry. And then the next year, same thing. Everyone is so close, so tight. Where it just provides us to go out there and play at the highest level, just because everyone is unselfish and wants everyone else to be successful. So really that's the main thing, I think, is like Jack said, the culture, and that means just the chemistry that's been a big reason for our success.
Question in the middle, about halfway back.
To Jack and Connor again, as you well know, Coach D, football's important, but it's not bigger than life. How has that rubbed off on this program, and how does it help you in moments like this when it's probably not as big a deal as we all even make it, and does it affect you positively in how you perform?
Yeah, definitely. He always kind of puts stuff in perspective. Yes, it's a very important football game. It's on a huge stage, possibility to play for national championship, but at the same time, there's bigger things in life, and you just have to make sure you have your priorities set.
You know, when we first got down here, Coach D obviously said the main priority is to win, but also enjoy yourself. You know, take everything in. You know, take a moment at practice to look around. You know, soak everything in. You know, whether if it's at practice, whether if it's at the hotel, or an activity that we're doing to just enjoy it. Obviously, it's a business trip, and it's a really, really big game. But also at the same time, he wants us to have fun, to take it all in, smell the roses, I guess.
We've got a question here in the front.
Rachel Speaker, UTA Communication. For all three of you, y'all had the rhetoric of finishing, but walk me through how you start. What do you do before a game as a team to mentally prepare, relax, and just get ready?
Listen to John Mayer radio.
Yeah, everybody has their own little way of getting ready, but before the game, we'll usually watch a highlight tape as a team, but before that, everybody has their own different routine, and that's kind of what everyone does.
Yeah, like they said, everybody got their own little routine. I like to listen to music.
Got a question on the aisle, middle.
Hi, Bill Bender, Sporting News. Aaron and Connor, this question's for you. Obviously, Aaron, you've had kind of a breakout season, a bunch of catches in the Big Ten championship game as well. So what went into the chemistry that you two have developed in the passing game?
Well, I think the best thing a quarterback and a receiver can do to develop chemistry is just throw. I mean, really go out there, throw routes on air. And that all started, ever since Burb and I were freshmen here. I was a redshirt freshman. He was a true freshman. And we were working with the twos a little bit. And then Burb obviously started working with the ones and has been playing ever since. But, we developed chemistry right away. And it's all the times that we spent after practice, before practice, during the summer. Doing 7-on-7, just throwing routes, showing up on a Saturday, on an off day or Sunday, whatever it is. Climbing the fence to get in when all the doors were locked, just to go out there and throw and get better and just try and develop that chemistry.
Question in the middle right.
This is a question for Connor Cook, Lance Crawford, WPMI in Mobile, Alabama, right over here, Connor. You said you enjoy being the underdogs, yet all the winning this program has enjoyed over the last 3 years especially. How is that possible? Why are you always the underdog, and were you to beat Alabama, wouldn't that finally put it to bed?
Well, I don't know why we're the underdog. I think you guys know the answer to that, probably better than us. But, maybe it would. Obviously playing a team like Alabama, a team in the SEC, you look at the teams in the SEC, and they've pretty much owned it the last decade, it seems like. So beating them hopefully would put it to rest. But, even if it didn't, we just go out there and we play. It doesn't matter if we're the underdog. If not, realistically, even though we do like, being the underdog and we embrace it and stuff and gives us that extra edge, we're going to go out there and give it our all no matter what.
We got a question on the rear by the platform.
Taylor Tannenbaum, WTVY in Dothan, Alabama. I know you compared yourself a little bit to Tom Brady, but in the other room, one of the defenders said they've been referring to you as Peyton Manning. What's your thought about that comparison? And Aaron, this is your quarterback. What's your analysis? Do you feel like he's a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type? So this is for both of you.
Well, I don't know if I was comparing myself to Tom Brady. I was saying a quarterback that I admire. Tom Brady is obviously very, very good. But what was the last question? Or the second one? Sorry.
They compared you a little bit.
Oh, to Peyton Manning.
They've been calling
Yeah.
you the Peyton Manning.
Well, that's a great compliment also. Peyton Manning's obviously a very, very good quarterback. And the only thing I got to say to that is just appreciate it.
Yeah, Connor's the best quarterback in the nation in my eyes. He's a competitor. He'll go out there and make a mistake and bounce right back, So I don't know if I compare him to Tom or Peyton, but yeah, like he said, it's a good compliment.
Got a question in the middle right.
This is for all three of the players. You guys are going to go visit the Children's Hospital in a couple hours. Just, for how much you get out of the game of football and being able to play it, what does it mean to each of you to just be able to give back and bring a smile to these kids' faces, and how much enjoyment do you take out of that?
Yeah, it's really good. We just go out there and we play a game that we love, and it's amazing the things that, how other people view it and how you can impact someone just by playing a sport that you love. You've been playing ever since you're a little kid. But anytime we can go to a hospital, anytime we can go meet kids, the youth camps that we've had over the summer, just working with kids that are, 10 to 12 to 13 years old, whatever, and just to see how pumped they get to be around us. And especially going to a hospital and someone who's sick or injured, whoever, to see a smile light up on their face and to see how excited they get just to see us. It's a humbling feeling, and we embrace it, and we enjoy it for sure.
I would say people that are going through a rough time or things aren't going their way, just to make them feel better for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, that's worth it. But at the same time, too, it kind of puts things in perspective, like the question we had before. You go through tough times during football, and this is a huge college football game, but there's bigger, more important things going on out there than football. So it kind of keeps everything in a line.
Yeah, it's crazy how, just by playing football and, just going to a children's hospital, how you can impact somebody's life. That puts a smile on my face, too. So, I embrace it, and I love it.
We got time for one final question for the coach or the student athletes. Got a question on the front.
Jack, this question's for you. You know what Connor can do as a quarterback. He's proven himself. But with them coming after him and you needing his arm, how much do you, as the leader of that offensive line, talk about this game coming down to you guys giving him time to throw?
I think most games come down to the trenches, and it's one up front usually. If we're not blocking or not protecting, they can't make plays, and vice versa. But it's going to be huge, and it's definitely going to be a big challenge for us. But we faced a lot of big challenges this year, and I think we're ready to take it head on.